Yes, sir. What it do, guys? Look, we are bringing you a new podcast. And when I say we, my guy Courtside Don is here with me with Release Day Pod. We're going to bring you market analysts, trendy topics, and expert insights on sneaker resale culture. Like, you're going to have everything that you need to be a sneaker reseller on this podcast right here. And when I tell you the guy behind the legend and the myth of Courtside Don is here to give you some game, to give you some tips. And look, we go back a while. Look, I started off at Winston, reselling there a little bit, did my thing, and my wife ended up going to UNCG where I bumped into this guy that's sitting over here to my
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
And look, we've been rocking for 10 years. But man, how you been, man?
I've been good. I've been good. I've been trying to, run Courtside. We got another project as well, sneaker portal, and a card shop, of course, on deck. So just trying to, dabble in a few different businesses, and see what works out. So,
Okay, okay,
but
okay.
yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
That's
Yeah.
good, man. Like, man, matter of fact, how did we, from your perspective, how did we meet?
Greensboro sneakerheads. Yeah. For anyone that is I guess I'm kind of jumping into it, but yeah, anyone that's getting into the sneaker game, like Facebook groups is A1. Like
Yeah.
that's where I met Jordan. I met a lot of my connections there. Like Facebook groups. I know everybody be on Instagram or TikTok, more new generation, but Facebook groups really is
Yeah.
meet a lot of people there. So
That's when you had that. That's when you had the ponytail. I think.
yeah, I had the man bun. Yeah, I had the man bun back in college. Yeah, it was.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I know this off top. What made you cut your hair? Was there any reason?
COVID happened. Yeah, when COVID happened, I knew I didn't want to have to make my hair every day, spend 20, 30
Yeah.
minutes making my hair. I shaved it all off the first day of lockdown. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So, man, like, before we get started, anything too deep. Something that I've noticed, and I think that you one of your biggest things that we talk about on the side is like Elon Musk,
Yeah.
like
Well, I'm,
him.
I'm a big Tesla fan. Yeah, a
Yeah.
huge Tesla fan.
The rap on yours is crazy too, by the way.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Desert Storm. Yep. That's a
How'd you
cool
pick
color.
that up?
Like tan brown
Yeah.
wraps are
Yeah.
real popular, so I had to find like the satin one. Everybody gets like this gloss one, a little bit different
Yeah.
color,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Desert Storm is nice.
Yeah. So okay, well you may be a little bit biased, but look, I still want to see like so. Is Zuck versus Elon? I feel like this is like round one. Like they had a little back and forth with the y'all want to see the MMA ring, that type of thing,
Yeah.
and then now Zuck, he dropped threads, and Elon just brought Twitter. Like how
Yeah,
you?
I mean, the whole thing, like people think it's a meme that they're gonna box, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they're actually gonna like have an event for that. And
Uh-huh.
then yeah, with threads coming out, I mean, Zuck he sees like Elon is in a tough spot. He's doing too many changes. People are not happy with what's going on Twitter right
Mm-hmm.
now. So I think this was his perfect opportunity to be like, like if y'all having problems here, come look at our new platform we have, Threads.
Mm.
So he did it at the right time. He knows what he's doing. Obviously, these are two big powerhouses. So yeah, whether it's through social media or fist fighting, I guess they're gonna duke it out. We'll see what turns up.
So who do you think is up one, or who won round one so far? What you think?
I don't know. Like you see this whole wave of people coming from from Instagram to Threads,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you open the app, it's already saying, "Do you want to follow everybody you already follow?" And
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing about new social media platforms is having that basis push over because
Yeah.
nobody migrates over heavy. Like what's Clubhouse? Everybody did that,
Yeah.
for a few
Yeah.
months, but yeah, I mean everybody's switching over to Threads right now. You see some activity, but I talked to you earlier about it today. I said, "Have you played with it yet much since
Yeah.
you did it?" You said maybe just a little bit. So it just depends, yeah, how everybody else is going to adapt. Are people going to stay on there
Yeah.
or go back to their normal? So
Yeah.
I think it just depends on where Zuckerberg takes it.
Yeah. It looks like Twitter might be dying because I mean, like, when you see the amount of traffic, what 30 million? I think it was like 30 million, like the first day. At the end of the day for Threads, just like, I mean, you get a week of that, you gonna be at 1 billion in no time. So,
Yeah.
and he said we're not looking at monetizing on Threads until we hit that billion mark, that range. And it's like, so if you hit that by the end of the month, there's gonna be might be monetization opportunities. So
Hmm.
I think that's gonna be huge for influencers, and then especially for like sneaker influencers because that's dropping content. if you can drop content and you can monetize on Instagram and you're not really able to monetize on Twitter, that's going to take all that traffic and that's going to push it, over to that new platform. And then even with Zuckerberg, like he's integrating so many different things, and it's hard to see kind of how Elon is integrating that. I guess that technology, the platforms, because the Twitter, I think that was more for like artificial intelligence potentially. So he'd have that backlog of data information on people, how they think, how they communicate. But
yeah, I mean, you have access to all the data of everyone that is communicating on that platform, so you can get a lot of data out of that, and you can also push influence through there. If you own a platform, if you need something to a certain perception, you have that power.
So yeah, Don, it's been like 10 years, about 10 years, a little over a decade since we known each other, man. And it's like, and I know, but tell the people like that's looking to get into resale, that's like really trying to get started, like just give them some insight, I guess. Like, how did you get started? Like, what really did it for you? How did you bring like Courtside into existence?
So I can give you the long story or the short story. So I got into it about like 2012. A buddy of mine got me a job at Foot Locker, and I worked here for a few months. That was around like Concord release, Galaxy release. That was back then. So like Concords came out 2011. I looked at the shoes. I said, maybe not. But then, release day come and then they break down. I'm working at High Point, by the way. There's a mall in High Point, Ocala Mall.
Oh, wow.
And they broke the doors down that day on the release day just to get the Concord. So we only had like 20 pairs. So it's like, yeah. So and then it kind of happened all over. And this was like big for the whole country. Like there was stories all over the news about
fights,
it too.
People was getting killed.
And the only thing before this that really happened was like the band release. People was running through.
I forgot about the bands.
But the Concords and the Galaxy, that was like what really like people were like, there's something going on here. So after seeing that reaction of people, I started looking more into like the shoes. And actually, by the time these white cement 4s came out, that's when I was like all in. Like when I get into something, I'm like really into it. So these came out. That was actually my first pair of shoes. These are 2016. 2012, of course, was had the Jumpman on the back. But
and then they had the it was the Spike Lee 4s that dropped the when they stepped on the shoes and they had the scuff. I cannot think of the name right off the top. I was about to say He Got Game, but it's not those.
You talking about when he had it in the movie where he had the scuff on it with those? Yeah.
The movie escapes me, but so that was another rendition of those as well. So yeah, it's been about 3 of those since they dropped.
Yeah. So this is what got me into it. I held it for a little bit. I had a buddy of mine. He was just like, yo, if you could get these shoes for me, I'll give you. And that was even before Concords. That was like Black Cement 3s. He was just like, I'll give you $20 if you get the shoe for me. I'm like, why is he paying me to get these shoes? This is, and this is before like resale was even like a thing. Like there might have been Nike Talk and a few people selling on Craigslist or eBay, but this was kind of like before where it is today. And I started researching it. I seen where the money was at in it, and then so working at Foot Locker and then getting into resale was just like it was a good formula. Like so it was all through 2012 and then so on, like I just started looking into the releases, and like you see it come out for like what, 170, and some stuff was even getting lower. Like KDs were $95 or $120, something like that, something crazy low. Like the margin on Weatherman's was.
Because when did the Nerf KD4s drop?
Nerfs came out around that time. KD4, that was like that year, 2000. Because that was Galaxy KDs, Weatherman KDs, and Nerf KDs. That was like 1500. Yeah, only
Breast
came
cancer,
out in like Texas and stuff like that.
Pearls. Yeah, KD4s, they was slapping there. And what would so was it the Concords? I think it was another shoe that really.
Yeah, the Concords will open my eyes. Like I didn't personally favor them at first, but then when I seen the demand and like you only see stuff like this on Black Friday, people breaking down doors, waiting in line. So it just really opened my eyes. And then by the time the Galaxy release came out, I didn't download that picture I was gonna show you, but I had a picture from the release day at Four Seasons in Greensboro, and like there's just hundreds of people like lined on the edge of the property, like just waiting for the release, and they canceled it. And it was just Yeah, the market's been crazy ever since then. That was like an iconic moment in my opinion. The Galaxy foams just, you
Yeah.
know.
Like, bro, I remember like it was yesterday. Like I actually started out botting. Like, and it's funny because like I consider you like very tech savvy, like tech guy, like, and
Hmm.
like you had like the in store, vibe. I had the online, and I started botting. And the first shoe that I bought it and was successful on was the Kobe eights.
Really? So that was like, yeah, a year or
Yes,
so after. Sheesh.
that
Yeah, that
was
was a
the
good one. That was
that was the first one that I hit on two pair, and I think at that time, it was like 160. I think retail was, and then my first flip was like 400 on those, and then
yeah.
I kept the other pair for myself, so I broke even.
So that was the what really got you into resale. Okay, okay. I would say this was my, my first shoe, but it was the South Beach Eights. Like
Mm,
that South Beach Eights, like I would say I would attribute that like for this career path,
yeah, yeah,
like that
yeah.
was the like fire that started for me. Cause when they first come out, they sat on shelves. So like all
Mm-hmm.
the Foot Locker employees could get pairs on discount stuff. So imagine people getting South Beach Eights for like 120.
That's
I guess y'all see the recent release now is a little bit
yeah,
different.
yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't go for that. But back then, dead stock pairs go for $600, $800. You got Foot Locker employees getting pairs for 120 and they selling them. Even if you pay $200, $300, like you sell for 400 or 500, like that margin, like to be able to make $200 on a transaction, like I don't know, what people are selling.
Yeah,
I've looked
yeah.
at other stuff. I do like trade as a skill set, but like the margin on that was really opened my eyes. I like that. I did sound system stuff like that before too, but yeah, the shoes was. So I had several pair of South Beaches. That was always my thing that got me started. So
Yeah. And after I bought it, that what the Kobe ate, somebody ended up hitting me for I want to say it was like a taxi that was coming out around that time, a taxi 12.
hmm.
And after they was like, yo, I can't get these shoes, I didn't enter all the raffles. I was like, well, I have a computer program. I was just trying
Yeah,
to get shoes for me. And then when I noticed, I was like, he was like, well, can you get me a pair? I was
yeah,
like, I'll try. Hit on that pair.
yeah,
And so this is when like my bot was really, really hitting. And that guy ended up introducing me to an NFL player, and it was up ever since. So it was kind of like I just stumbled into like sneaker reselling. And another shoe that did pique my interest too was the Kobe 8 Grinches.
yeah.
That was
The sixes
yeah,
or
yeah, the
eights.
sixes. The sixes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
sixes.
The Kobe Grinches sixes. Like when I tell you like I was like, that's the loudest, that's the ugliest shoe. Like when I first saw it,
That's number one Kobe shoe out, man. That's
number
yeah,
one. Like I'm talking about girls at school. Like that was when I like really noticed. Like I was like, okay, there's really something with these sneakers. Like sneakers have a value that's like resellable. I mean, it's like I wasn't thinking about a business at that time, but the type of credibility that it gave you, swag. Like if you had the shoe, you were a popular person just
it
because you're
it's good
dressed.
for networking. Definitely, like just having a certain pair of shoes on is started a conversation with a lot of people.
Yep. Yeah.
So I definitely see what you're saying there. I agree.
So getting started then, like
But yeah, so yeah, getting started, like yeah, I was just working the Foot Locker and getting the releases. The checks back then were like $160, $200. So
minimum wage. Yeah.
you're able to get
Yeah.
like one pair, maybe two pair. If you save a little extra. But
Yeah.
yeah, just starting from there. Like today's a little bit different. You see people that be in at 6 months and they already got like 100 pair of shoes. But
Yeah.
back then, starting with like one or two pair of shoes, being able to make 50 or $100,
Mm-hmm.
that's really like where had gotten started from. And then just working with the company over time, just networking with other people, being able to obtain pairs, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I would try and buy pairs from them too. So at first, maybe one or two pairs at
Yeah.
first, and then I asked my mom, like I know you just got your paycheck, can I get some cash? I'll pay you back by Monday. So
Yeah.
that Saturday morning when the release would come out, I had a mission by that Sunday night. Monday morning I had to get the cash back to her.
Wow.
So it was a hectic weekend every release,
For
but
sure. For sure.
eventually I was able to get where I could get pairs on my own, but without her help, that I appreciate her for that. Cause
Shout out, moms.
yeah. I mean, every time I'm trying to talk to her, it's just like, what are you doing? Like,
For sure, for
you trying to
sure.
put this money into into these shoes. Parents don't understand this
A
stuff.
lot of
So
people dealing with that like right now. Like it's like I know resellers, like young guys reach out to me, hit me up like, yo, like I saw how you got started. Like, I see Courtside, I see these other stores popping up, and it was like, man, I want to do that. And it's like, hey, it starts with one or two shoes. Like
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
starts from one shoe. If you can take that shoe, turn a profit, and reinvest, don't eat your seeds, guys. If you
yeah,
if you get a shoe, make sure that you reinvest because that's going to carry you to the next shoe. That shoe is going to carry you to 5 shoes, 10 shoes. But you got to keep turning a profit. Don't eat your seeds. So, but
yeah.
yeah,
That's for sure. Yeah, because if you can do it correctly and you start getting some money in your pocket, you can definitely blow it. But just starting out reselling at first, you start out with like a few $1,000. I guess we can kind of jump into like how I would say you should jump into
yeah, we
reselling
can. Yeah, go
or
ahead. Yeah,
okay.
give us some
Oh,
keys.
okay, okay. Yeah, because it's just reminiscing. Um, but yeah, just starting out small. Like I do feel like a lot of people get intimidated. Like they see a lot of other
Mm.
resellers, starting out with whether it be 20 pairs, 50 pairs, 100 pair of shoes. But like, and then a lot of people, it's the barrier to entry into the market seems very what's
Huh?
yeah,
Okay.
high, like intimidating
Yeah.
is the
Okay.
word I'm
Yeah.
looking
Yeah. Yeah.
for,
Yeah. Yeah.
because, people trying to stand out, it can be difficult.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, don't let that discourage you, whether, it's a small capital starting or even, not having access to the pairs. Like, you may see us talk about it or like other sneaker investment guide. But they'll all tell you, you got to build relationships with the
For
peoples in the
sure.
store. That's where I started at, was
For
the
sure.
relationships in the stores. Like, without working at the company at first, I wouldn't have been able to build that network to get the pairs. And then I would go on Craigslist to sell shoes. This was
Yeah.
before Facebook groups.
Man, that's a
Yeah, I
throwback.
don't even think Facebook Marketplace was even a thing yet. This was
No.
like
No. Mm-mm.
Craigslist and eBay.
Yep. eBay was a
So
huge, and StockX wasn't even around yet.
yeah, yeah. So buying
So
and selling shoes on Craigslist. I did that for a little while, like a year or two, and
yeah.
then actually I found an ad one day for Bull City Sneakerheads. Tony and Zach, they had this Facebook group. They,
Oh
if
yeah, I
you want
remember
to
that.
buy and
Yeah.
sell shoes, they had a Craigslist ad. Come over to Facebook, and then that's where I discovered Facebook groups. I
That
didn't even
Facebook.
know it was
Yeah.
a thing, and that's what really just like opened everything up for me.
The
Like,
Facebook groups they predated the Facebook Marketplace, and that was the first Facebook Marketplace. Like if you wasn't in a group, you really wasn't selling anything because I mean it was just so hard to connect a buyer to the seller. And then when those two things came together, look, Zuck, you had the market cornered, my boy. Yeah. So, but
yeah,
and like even going, to go back a little bit, like to kind of parallel your stories, like getting started, like those relationships, like so like I had siblings that worked at sneaker stores, I had family that worked at sneaker stores, so by me being the young kid always kind of hanging around, after they start off at certain stores, they ended up going to get their own, becoming managers, becoming that type of thing. And it was just one of those things, like you said, like just building relationships. And like now, they just gave you the, ability to, hey, oh, are you backdooring shoes? No, I'm not backdooring shoes. Like it's just one of those things where it's like I know where to go, where what's the inventory is gonna look like, those type of things. Like that's how you kind of get those one ups, or that's how you kind of get that assistance and help. Like if you go to a store, let's say you wake up Saturday morning and you assume, hey, they're gonna have these shoes, and then you go to the store and they don't have them, you just lost. Like there's other
yeah.
resellers going to the right place.
And to try and just walk in somewhere and get something for retail nowadays, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't happen, but I haven't gotten a shoe for retail in like,
Thank
I
you.
don't
Oh
know
my
how many years. I just give up. Getting on this Nike app and then it just telling you took a L. I'd rather just not even. I want to have a good day. I don't want to be in a bad mood all day, so
God.
I don't even try anymore. But
It does something to your spirit. Like when you just like I'm talking about, you open up your phone, you go in there with high hopes. You just like, oh man, like yo, today's the day. I'm actually win, and then you get that L. Oh, you didn't win this time. It messes up everything. Like
yeah,
I promise you, like before you get on the sneaker apps, look, you better pray, you better fast, like you
yeah,
better cross your fingers.
And it ain't just you in a bad mood, man. People come in the store, man. Did you go? I said, no, I didn't. But I could tell you did. You don't look like you in the best mood right now. Yeah, I got it ill. Like, yeah.
So since we talked about a little bit, like, you know, how you got started, like, so what's been like, I guess, what was your worst investment or what?
Oh my God, it was near the beginning. I was waiting to say this. Like, guys, there's some shoes like to buy and some not to. So there was this Jordan 3 that came out, the 5 Lab 3s. It was like
Oh
the
my
whole
gosh,
Jordan
yes,
3 was
yes.
like 3M
Yeah.
with a clear bottom, you know, and like when Nike releases product, they made it seem like it was like this exclusive product, this Lab series.
Box
Like,
was fire.
yeah. Like, I'm like, oh, this is a premium product, you know. So I go out and I think retail was high.
220.
It was like 220 or 250.
Yep.
It was something really high on this Lab pack. So, you know, just that initial investment, like, you know, like I said, starting out with $200 and slowly building 500,000 and get up to there, you know, $2,000. You know, buying 10 pair of those shoes was like almost $2,500 investment off the beginning. And I'm like, I just got to wait a little longer. They're going to go up. And that was like the first shoe I really sat on, and it was bad. They went for like under retail. Nobody really wanted to buy them.
How many pairs
like,
you get?
I had like 10 pair. Yeah. So
you had a size run.
Yeah, I got stuck with them. I got stuck with them for like months. That was a bad investment.
Yeah.
You know, like later in life, you know, like obviously nothing's 100%. So there's other investments that I have made that weren't good, but in the beginning, that was the one that was like, yeah, that one. And then the black and white ones, that's a crazy one. That one was like 2014, I think. The black and white Jordan 1 hot tops.
Really,
they come out with the 85 version recently, but yeah, that was my next one. I finally got rid of the 3s, and then I can't remember actually if the ones were before or after the 3s, but the ones I sat on for a while too. And yeah, that shoe just sat at the same price for like 2 years. That was probably my longest hold back then, and it just would not move like at all. Even like, yeah, because, you know, you look at Royals and Breads back then, you know, Kanye had Royals going for a band on Flight Club. Like, that was like crazy to see that.
Yeah.
His influence was another level. So, you know, I thought black and white ones, you know, but it didn't translate. So
how'd you climb out the, you know, the 3 Lab hole? Like, what'd you do to kind of like?
I think I had to sell at a loss. I think I went to a sneaker con and I had to like price under market. I think I ended up selling them for like 200 or 180 a piece. I just had to get my cash back out of it. Yeah, and like I'll say, like, if something is like turns into a brick or is not a good hold, you know, it don't try and hold out to try and get your money back. Just go ahead and cut your loss and then go ahead and reinvest the money. Because if you wait another 2 or 3 months hoping that it goes up, if you know, as a risk, you know, like, yeah, you would have lost like a few $100 selling it for a loss, but in that time you can regain that money you lost with other investments, I think. So if you ever identify something as maybe not the best investment, you know, just try and cut it.
Yeah, I'm trying to like, yo, like, what did I buy that was like, I'm talking like a terrible investment? Like, okay, it was a terrible investment. Maybe not because the product didn't move. It was the price point that I bought at, and it was I want to say it was the Belugas,
the V2s, like the first release.
The first release, because I priced them way too. I bought way too high.
They were going for a whole lot when they come out, right?
They were.
It wasn't over 1,000 though, was it? No, I can't remember.
It was like 600, but because I was strapped for cash, I bought it at like 450 a pair or something like that, and then it dropped down to like 490 instant sale type thing. Yeah, and it was just I couldn't move them at the price that I needed to move them because I was actually trying to line up another purchase, and I couldn't hit the number that I needed so I could go get the bulk. Yeah,
so you had to hold off on the deal.
Yeah, and so the reason I say it was bad because, guys, I don't recommend it. Yes, I flaked. Oh my gosh, like, I hate to say it. So like I had to flake on the deal.
I mean, it was a while ago. Yeah, right? It was when you're younger.
Yeah, so I had to flake on the deal because the deal that I first had initially set up, and the price point that I bought at, so that's not one of my most brightest moments, but that was a tough one.
And it happens to everybody. Like, if anybody tells you, "Oh, my portfolio is only positive," it's not. Like,
For
people are
sure.
we're buying Panda grade schools at 180. Like so it's just
Yeah, and they
stuff
go
goes up and down.
and they're going for like 160 now, and they'll probably go back up, but
They down to like 120, 130 on stock
really,
now. Yeah, they went out because they're pushing them like forces, man. They're
yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah,
restocking them every few weeks, and
yeah,
they're pushing them like forces. The quantity like nationwide or worldwide's got to
yeah.
be insane.
And they just actually, now that you said it, yeah, they just, I've seen a couple of stores like in our local area. Yeah, they just popped up with a few more. So if you guys didn't know they had dunks, just grab some. We might not be taking them, but hey, look,
Yeah,
just
I love pandas. I love yeah, I do love that shoe.
yeah.
That's number one shoe out right now.
So what do you think? So what was in your best purchases? Well, let's say start early off, like not even now, but like kind of like back then. Like what was kind of like one of those purchases that really kind of got you into it? Like
Back like early on.
early on.
It was them South Beach eights. That's the one
Mm,
I would definitely say. Like that's what got me started, and that's like I would go like talk to people like, can I come?
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would go to people's houses and like go through their closet and like offer on everything.
Yep.
I'd try and leave with like 10 pairs, maybe even 30 pairs. If I'm lucky, but if they had a pair of South Beach eights in the closet,
Oh
like
yeah,
that was
gonna get
that
yeah,
like
yeah.
that gold. Like that's what I would try and get.
Mm.
With a bunch of the other
They
shoes.
now that I think about it, they were everywhere, yo. Like they
Yeah.
had they were a GR.
Yeah, they
They were a
sat. People didn't go
GR.
crazy till the Nons came out. When the Nons
Mm-hmm.
came out, I was at Four Seasons, like this. Like there's hundreds of people all crammed trying to fit in the
Yeah.
entrance, So, but eights, yeah, they sat, and yeah, and then right after all, that was like Nike Sportswear.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then after Nike Sportswear, that's when Kanye got in there with all the Jordan ones. Like he wore them Royals and breads and everything, just went crazy.
Yeah.
Shadows.
Kanye was the first triumph.
Even the red Air Forces. Like I walked by Foot Action one day. I remember with the flag on the tongue. They're just sitting out there. Kanye wears it one time. Somebody went in and bought them all. They went for like $500 to $700. It was crazy. Like just like that. Like his influence was like another level. Like I don't see anyone have that influence today where they can wear a shoe and then it doubles or triples in value like that. So
Yeah.
it was a different time.
Yeah. Now the shoe, well, for me, the shoe that like really did it, like really set it off, and I'm talking about really put money in my pockets, like kind of fueled my business. The Master 12s,
Really,
bruh,
the tax 12s.
bruh. When
Yeah.
I like, yo, people would throw. I'm talking about 400, 350. Like they didn't even bat an eye. Like I was like, y'all want these? Like these?
Yeah.
And
What was that, like 2016?
yep. And then that's when, so around that time, I wasn't really botting anymore. I had more relationships, and then I hit the apps, and that was one release I hit on every app that I put in.
Oh, that was a good one to hit
Everyone.
it on. Yeah.
And so like I'm going from all the way from Winston all the way to Raleigh, hitting every mall because I hit everywhere. And so I'm selling them at Winston Mall, at Haynes. I'm selling them at Greensboro Mall. I'm selling at Raleigh. Like, so, yo, probably that day, like I probably moved, because I had a couple of guys with me. So we probably moved like 25, 30 pair.
Dang, that's a good amount right there. Yeah, that's a good. I don't even think we had that much. That was back when I had the first store. And yeah, we only got like 15 pairs, and they were like in and out quick. We were just sitting there sick, like with nothing.
Cause it was like, so we hit on a men's and we hit on double sizes. So after we had like our 6th pair, then we moved those, and then some people, they just kind of come out the store, hey, you selling those? Yeah, how much you want for them? 280. They just threw a number, not knowing. Oh, yeah, I got it for you right here. Go on. And then go to the next mall, pick up. And so that was like the shoe that like really, really, you know what I'm saying, did it. So, but if we had to come up to like, current times, like what would you say right now for the audience? Like what shoes, since we had some poor investments, we had some bad investments, like what's kind of like the top 3, I guess, investment pieces you recommend? Like if you say, hey, we talked about Panda Dunks, like, hey, if you're starting off, grab a couple of Panda Dunks. They'll probably do good for your sneaker portfolio. Or
Yeah,
what
because
you
even if you
recommend?
got to pay like lowest ask or pay market, like there's always somebody that's going to pay a little more on a high demand product
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just depends on the numbers. Like you can look at data. Is that what you're asking me? Like how can you
Yep.
tell what is a good investment, what's a bad investment?
Yep.
Like
Right
what to
now.
look for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's say a shoe comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking about that UNC2, right? You can look at recent release like the Chicago, like that's the original pair, but this has got the exact same color palette.
Mm.
Like the color instead of it being red in certain spots is blue, so it's got like that original colorway just
Yep.
in UNC blue. And then UNC shoes from past experience have always done well, yeah, except for the UNC sixes, but
Yeah.
ones, threes, fours, all those did good. That's that UNC3. That was probably one of my craziest
Yeah.
investments now that I think about that. Um, but yeah, just knowing stuff like that from previous experience can let
Mm-hmm.
you know. But if you don't have that and you just have like the information on the internet, I would say three things to look for is 100% on StockX. That is the authority. Goat's a big platform too, but
Mm.
StockX gives you all of the sales data. It tells you how many pairs are for sale, at what prices, how much people are bidding on, how many pairs sell every day. And you can even see the price graph. Like, it's just like a stock. You can look at the behavior, and you just really got to look at the sales data. And you can, just a quick tip, guys. If you go to like the sneakers tab on StockX and then you go to uh, trending items
Yep.
or top sellers, it'll
Yep.
tell you like how many items have sold in the last 72 hours.
Yep.
Like that's a strong indicator. That alone will tell you how much demand that product has. So if it's a new release and you're unsure, like just look at that tab. But you do have to be careful too, because there's some stuff that it'll try and like stick with OG colorways, or like like how these are retros of original colors, or like for the pandas, any dunks. Like if it is like that original colorway
Yep.
palette where it's like a panda, but instead of black, it's like different colors. Like and they're not just putting random colors on random panels. Like that's a good way to tell too, I would say.
And speaking of those, like they got a I know July 8th, like you mentioned, the twos they're dropping, and then the cacaos, mocha dunks.
Yeah, cacao. Yeah,
Hey guys, look, just let me know in the comments. Like, is it cacao or is it
cocoa.
is it
Yeah,
cocoa? Look, just let us know like how we supposed to pronounce that. But
yeah.
yeah,
Everybody just call them mocha in the store. It's
mocha
I
dunks.
don't know how to say it either. But
Now
yeah, that's a good one coming up too, for
they're,
sure.
they're dropping they're dropping on July 10th. So like so if I had to use that one as an example, like so that's like one of those silhouettes, one of those like panel colors that
Yeah, like right now,
decent.
brown is very trendy. It's
Okay.
got the vintage sole on it. Like Nike knows what they're doing. Some releases they come, excuse me. Some releases they come out with, maybe they're just putting out there. But some release like that, I think is like they did that,
Yeah. And then
purposely.
And then on the 13th, there's a pair of 12s coming out for women's only. Brilliant orange.
The black and orange ones, right?
Yeah, the black and orange ones. Like, would you say like just that colorway? Like for me, it's coming into the fall time. Would rather for them to drop it during October because I feel like I know what kind of vibe that would be. Like looking at it now and the color, like just the panels. I think it's a really kiddie shoe. So a lot of people don't like to spend that type of money on that size, so I think that might hurt him a little
Uh,
bit.
so it looks like I'm looking at it now. It
Yeah.
looks like the orange is kind of dark. It
Mm-hmm.
is coming out in fall, so I think that's a plus.
Yeah.
It's getting after Memorial Day. People wearing darker colors, so I think that will do good. But at the same time, Jordan's going to release a lot of pairs. Anytime like the black
Yeah.
and yellow 12s or some of the other 12s that's come out recently, they definitely overproduce them. So market on that might be like right over retail, I'd say. Like you might even see some pairs sit,
Yeah.
because it'll be like value be right over it, unless they make it limited, but they haven't been doing that recently.
Yeah.
And about those dunks too, I think like again that's a really great investment. I'm sure y'all will see it on the internet. Everybody's going to tell you to be investing in it. It is
Yeah, they
right as
are.
long as Nike
They are.
doesn't dump a second wave.
Yeah.
If you buy in at like 150, 160, and then they dump another wave and they go down to 130, it might be bad. But because of how good the colorway is
Mm-hmm.
and how the shoe looks, it will still sell well. It'll
Yeah.
have a high transaction level. So I definitely think that that's a good shoe to invest in.
Yeah. Yeah. Those like to me when I look at them like it's like I try to envision can I see someone actually wearing these, putting them on their feet like
And guys, what he's saying right now is actually a lot more important than what you think. You really in visualizing yourself wearing the shoes or a customer wearing the shoe is very important.
because if you like for me if it's over 50,000 shoes it's probably going to be produced for that actual shoe. You really have to think about okay, the people are actually gonna wear these. But if it's like under that 100,000, under that 50,000, like you're talking about like a piece of art. That's how I look at the shoe. Like I look at shoes like a Grateful Dead or something like that. It's like, are you really gonna see that out? You may see that somebody on the red carpet, but other than that, you may never play.
It's you saying like the loud shoes, like it's a
Yep.
one time moment. Like you see somebody wearing a centric pair of shoes, like if you see them wear it every time, it's like, oh, he's wearing them again. But if it's, I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah, like if it's some shoes are like a statement piece, so
Yep.
maybe those will may not be worn as much.
Yep. Like, cause you can like a shoe that like that's gonna sell well. You're gonna probably see it. Let's say 1 out of 5 people. A shoe that doesn't that may sell. I'm talking about great. Okay, maybe 1 out of 10. But when you start getting into that 1 out of 50, like 1 out of 100, like okay, yeah, it might have a high price point. But even as a reseller starting off, it's like, do you want to invest $1,000 into one shoe? Only one person might be able to
Well,
buy
even
it.
the smallest shoe, I say like this is a perfect example, guys. Like what we were saying about seeing yourself wear the shoe. This
Yep.
purple 5 right here, the Great Fives. You see the shoe come out, purple suede 5. Like yes, that's A1. Like I bought bulk in it because I believed in the shoe.
Yep.
And what happens when it comes out and you see it in person? The purple is a completely different
I hate
color,
when that
and
happens.
you can't wear it with anything. So that purple is very difficult to wear something with, and because of that reason alone, people would not buy it. It's just too hard. It's too hard to match. So, like even if it, just look into stuff like that. Make sure that stuff is actually wearable.
Yep.
And yeah, like you have the lightnings and then you have the thunders. Like
Yeah, the quality on them ones. I don't know. Boy, we
I
talk.
bought a lot of them
Yeah.
thunder. The lightnings are actually
Like, I
that
remember we
was.
was talking about that the other day, like the Oreo 4 quality control, the lightness, and that messed up the shoe. I mean, because like now you're talking about if you're buying in bulk, let's say you buy 20 or you buy 50 pair and you got 10 of them with flaws, like now that's gonna affect your price point.
Yeah, I
That you can
remember at Thunder
actually,
grade school. That was
bruh,
oh, oh, I can't tell you how many sales we've lost because of it. We actually have to put
glue,
them as
yep,
B grade in here because the glue is so bad on so many pairs.
yeah.
And then you got the it wasn't Oreo 4's military GS.
They would,
They had the
yeah,
black stain on the
yeah,
front on the netting right there. It
yep.
turned black.
Cause they
How
were
many?
rubbing off on each other, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
dye on the tongue touches. So
Yep.
that was a huge, like every pair we buy, we have to check for because
Yeah.
we've lost so many sales, so we have to put them as B grade.
Yeah.
That's 10-15% off that we're losing on our margin. So.
Yeah. And then after the 12s that's dropping, the dunks, the Chicago with the you don't believe in them,
Nah,
Don?
let me pull this picture back up again. Yeah, guys, don't invest in this one. I mean, it'll go for like little bit over retail probably, but I just don't even. It's
You don't think the name's gonna carry it?
what is the name exactly?
I think it's I think well on the street I think it's gonna be Chicago. I don't know what the official name is right this second. I haven't seen them pop up on
I
sneakers
mean,
yet.
the homage, even the homage, people are 50-50 on.
That's
Like
true.
if they like the split or not, and then this is just
Yeah.
yeah. I just
Overkill.
stay away from that one. I would recommend, guys. I would definitely go toward the cacaos than those. So.
And remember, please let us know how to say it. If you know, look, just shoot
Yeah.
us a DM so we're not embarrass ourselves on cameras. And then I think the last one that's gonna be coming back. Ooh, these might be the ones. Mac Attack.
I saw you were
back.
looking those up earlier. What is this one?
So the Mac Attacks, like, so they actually saw Trav have them on at a concert with the reverse check,
I remember that. Yep.
and this was literally a tennis shoe, like you know how people say tennis shoe, sneaker. No, this is really a tennis shoe,
Yeah.
and it got that history that kind of like throwback, like when this is like that flight posit type shoe, kind of like if
Like
you
the Agassi, what is it called? I can't remember, but yeah,
yeah,
it's like an actual tennis shoe.
like so this is like around a time where like 90s, like when sneaker culture was really like starting to catch fire, become trendy, like starting to compete with like that designer, like yo, if you have on sneakers, it's just as fire as having on the Gucci. And like that was like the precursor to like to that age. Like so now these haven't been out. I want to say it's 2023. Man, we get old. I don't. Like, but that had to be like 80s around that time. Like yeah, like 80s, 90s around that time. So that's almost what 40,
Yeah, 30 years.
30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
been a minute. I
yeah.
mean, Travis, he does have influence. If you put the swoosh backwards, that's probably
Hmm.
means he's gonna come out with his own pair.
Yep.
Um, but not all of his shoes have been a hit. What's the 270 was decent, okay, and
Yeah.
then what's the one where the detachable
The
shielding?
trainers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those didn't hit. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's 100%, but if he comes out with like a kind of like a milky white one with a brown swoosh,
Yeah.
something that's very wearable, I think it could do well. So
Because I think this is gonna be a social collab. So
social status
yeah, I think it's gonna be a
with
social
Travis.
collab. No, the trainers
Oh,
for the
okay.
Mac attacks. Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay,
I
okay.
think it's gonna be a social, and I don't know if they're gonna drop those. You know how they do it with Travis, like they'll hype something or he'll throw something on and then they don't drop it.
Yeah, like the
So
dunks. Like Nike try to push dunks so hard. Not like regular dunks, but SB dunks. I don't know if y'all remember that wave like 2-3 years ago where Travis was wearing a whole bunch of SBs.
yeah,
I mean, they tried to push it real hard. That was right when COVID happened. So Nike's got this whole marketing campaign on Nike SBs, and COVID hits,
yeah,
and none of these skate shops can get product, and they're suffering. Like it was just a real tough time I
yeah,
noticed for skate shops because you have the most demand that the categories had in a long time, and then you're giving a product shortage for all
yeah.
of your skate shops. So, just wanted to kind of mention that was.
So
So I think that kind of led to the downfall of the SBs as well because of
I didn't even think
they
about that.
couldn't get the product in customers' hands.
Yeah,
They couldn't, you wouldn't see it on social media. You don't see people wearing the stuff
yeah,
because they can't get their hands on it, and for that reason, it could have came and went. But at the same time, maybe it was just a bulky shoe. Maybe people,
yeah.
styles change and stuff. Like we're not wearing Big Bang LeBron nons anymore.
Yeah,
So
we gotta talk about that one day because I look like we talk about fives, talk about fours, talk about threes, like that ankle fit with the jean
oh,
with
the
the
slim fit. Yeah, this one
yeah,
probably don't even have. No, this one's okay. They have it figured out at that time.
yep,
That was one of the UNC3 was the first one. By the way, what we're talking about, guys, is when they put the slim ankle on the
yep,
shoes. Like you could see a huge difference between like 2018 black cement threes. If you look at the padding on the ankle, it's huge.
super,
But then you look at UNC threes, and the padding is very narrow. So
hmm,
that's when you see like Jordan adapting the style of
yep,
shoes. They're doing it for a reason, and they keep up with the trends pretty well. They see the Jordan 1, it had its reign for years. They see the slim silhouette. Now it's on the fours.
yeah.
Fours is the new one. So
And they have, and that's the thing too. Like they say, I think what pain is beauty or something like that. Like of course, like without the padding, it's not as comfortable. Like J's have become, less comfortable over time. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, which one is gonna look better on foot? Is it stylish? Is it sleek? Does it have is it aerodynamic? That type of thing. So now
hmm
out of those, I wanna do a little segment. Like since we talked about kind of like what's coming out. So the Jordan 2 is coming out July 8th. July 10th, the women's dunk low, the cacao. The Jordan 12s, they coming out July 13th. And then the Chicago split and then the social status Mac attacks. Like, so I want to do start, bench, and cut. Which ones you think, out of that group that we have, which one would you want to start or which one you think gonna kind of, do okay, sell well? Which one would you want to bench, kind of put on the back burner, like, hey, you might want to grab maybe one or two of them, and
yeah.
then which one you want to cut? Like, nah, that ain't gonna, it ain't gonna
Okay.
cut it.
Sir. So yeah, the cacao, that one is 100%. Whether you're independent reseller or store owner, like just buy as many pairs as you can. If you can get it at market or a little bit less,
Yeah.
like that's like a product you'll always be able to sell. That's a great, as long as dunks stay relevant. I think it's going good right now, but trends do change. The red pair, just hold off on those. I mean, unless you get them on discount and you can flip them on stock or something easily.
That sound like cut to me, guys.
Yeah. The black and orange 12s, I think that would do great for stores.
Okay. Okay.
Independent resellers, they might have a little bit of a harder time selling it
Don't do it.
because,
Don't do
yeah,
it.
because the consumer, like I said, y'all might be able to find it on shelves.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
an independent reseller selling direct to consumer,
Yeah,
that consumer might just be able to walk in.
for sure.
I would say probably hold off on that one unless you have customers lined up. The UNC2s, I think, will do good. I think they're trying, like how they try to push those SBs. I think they're trying to push twos right now. I think like Ian from Private Selection, he said they're coming out with like 30 colorways this
Yeah,
year. So
yeah.
that's pretty crazy for that many colors. I think the Chicago's did great, which they performed a lot better than I was expecting. I was not expecting that shoe to do that well, but we have pairs and they
Yeah.
sell. People come out,
Really?
yeah, cause it's that OG reference. I think because R.I.P. Virgil, but when he
Yeah,
passed
yeah.
away, the
Off-White
Chicago
too,
2 shot
yeah.
up a whole lot.
Yeah.
So people saw that and remembered it, and then when they seen a product that was almost identical to it, that was the OG pair, they kind of associated it. Just like the Spider-Mans. Like
Yeah.
I see a lot of people see Spider-Mans going for $600+, so they are buying the new colorway, around $200-$300 right now, hoping it'll do the same thing. And which, by the way, the like 10 or 10 and a half and up are all up, like 8 and stuff, like low 200s, 10 and up, all like 350, 400 almost. Like, so I mean, it's been a good.
Hey
Good
Don,
shoe.
you gonna laugh at this. This is kind of diverging a little bit. Speaking of Jordan 1 Spider-Mans, yeah, I had a Jordan, the OG Spider-Man Jordan 1s in grade school.
Mm-hmm.
You remember they wasn't selling well. They was selling around like 2 something, and then they skyrocketed to like 4 something.
Yeah.
I didn't update the price on my website.
Oh man.
I had somebody buy a pair.
Hey man, that's why you need Sneaker Portal.
Bruh, I didn't update the actual item, right?
Yeah.
He emailed me
Oh, he was being a Karen about
and was
it.
like, no.
Oh, okay.
He was like, is this really the right price? And I was like, I don't know if I was with family, I was just out and about.
He should have just. Oh, what did you do?
So I emailed him back. I said, yeah, like they'll be shipped out, yada yada yada. So packed them up, shipped them out. I think I sold them for like $280 or something. The shoe was going on stock for $430.
Dang. Yeah, that's that's a bad one.
And I would never forget that to this day. It's like, yo, why didn't I go check the price? When I saw the email, I should have like,
Yeah, when he emailed you, that would have been
I
a red
know.
flag for me. I go straight to it. Yeah, I go straight to it. Yeah.
So yeah, I would never forget that. But you saying twos, I'm shocked. Like, cause I'm the OG guy. Like,
Yeah.
when we be talking sneakers, I'm like, yo, the 2s, the 7s. Look, guys, I'm being facetious. Like, we know the 7s don't sell well. 2s typically don't sell well. But I'm like an OG sneakerhead. Like, I like all the old stuff. Like,
7's got some decent colors.
Yep.
Yeah.
like
But Jordan almost left Nike because he disliked the 2s that much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of 2s. I know you like them, but
yeah.
that's
like I'm like I like the stuff that typically don't sell well. Like I actually like I like 2s, I like 7s. I like
Brotherhood Jordan 1s.
Yo, okay, that was another bad
What
one.
did you say? You said that one wasn't uncut? Is that what you call
Yeah.
it?
So I thought the Brotherhoods was gonna slap because like so you got your Omega Phi Psi 1911, shout out to the bros. Like I thought y'all was gonna come out, but no disrespect. Just I guess
$89 on StockX right now. The lowest Jordan 1 I've seen in years.
I was like so serious. Like I think I told Don, I was like, yo, Don, they're gonna be like 250. They're gonna be like 3. I'm talking about I said it with my chest. Yeah, so I was yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we don't always call it right, but yeah, that one was pretty bad.
So yeah, man. So yeah, we don't always get it right, but I definitely do think the Jordan 2s, I think that's a start. I think the women dunk low cacaos, I think those are start. Mocha dunks. Hey, look again. Let me know how am I saying that, but the brilliant, I do. So I'm an independent reseller, and I think the Brilliant Orange, from my expertise, like they will probably be a great trade shoe. So I think that you want to keep them on the bench because like a lot of times people think like what's the dollar amount, but you can actually get a lot of trade value out of shoes that's sitting on the shelves because like even though they may not do well for you, they may do well for others. And so you kind of have to kind of network like, hey, are these doing well in your market? They might not do good in North Carolina. They might do okay in Chicago. They might not do good here. They might do good in Florida. Like just
Yeah,
kind of,
or even if it's somewhere local, like
yep,
just because you can't sell a shoe on your own does not mean that your local consignment shop can't sell it for
facts.
you. There's been a lot of shoes that people can't sell and then they bring it here and we sell. It's just like that shoe in
Facts. I do
specific.
that. Yeah.
I think if you can find like a local shop to consign at, it will
Yeah.
sell very well for you. But selling on your own may be difficult. It's
Yeah.
just certain shoes are like that. Jordan 9s, Jordan 12s. But at Jordan 11, you could just walk out the door and somebody will buy a pair. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I'm
like
saying?
you
Like,
know. So it just certain models, and then those social status shoes. That one I would be kind of
I say cut.
wary about. Yeah.
I
Are these the colors that are coming out? Is this the social status collab?
I don't. I think it's the white and gray pair. It's gonna be the white and gray pair that's dropped first. That
Okay.
kind of off white, that sail
I
color.
think that they can do well if the demand gets there, but I don't know if I could see this model in specific. The way that the shape of the shoe and everything is.
Yeah. It's almost like a kind of like it's almost a one and a dunk cross. Like that's you know what I'm saying. It's so
Yeah, it's
unique.
it's like a in between. I think if they can come out with the right colors and they push it right, it'll
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like I mean, them having Travis wear it,
Yeah.
is them
Yeah.
trying to push it. So if they continue to push it,
They might
um,
need Mike to throw them on.
yeah, I don't. We'll see how that goes though. But be careful, guys. Like I do want to say stuff on collaboration specific,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
social status. James Widner, he's a mastermind. He's
Yeah.
got how many locations
Brilliant.
now? Yeah,
Yeah.
great. Seems like he really got his head on his shoulders, right? He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
With collabs in specific, like a social status release, it can be, or what's another example? Another shoe store collab. I'm trying to
Atmos.
Atmos, yeah, something like that. Those releases are very limited, and then a lot of the allocation is given to those stores.
Yes.
So when you have a lot of a product in the hands of one person, the market can be manipulated very
Yes.
strongly.
Yes.
Not to say that they're backdooring them or anything, but
Of
just
course.
having
Of course not.
majority
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
inventory in one person's possession, they can control the market. So if they
Depends
decide
on
to
what they do
dump
with
it,
it. Yeah.
if they say it's not selling well, I need to dump it, boom, everything cuts. Like, for example, those Jordan 6s, I think it was
Oh, the social status Jordan 6 is
yeah, the black
purple
and
and
purple
black.
ones.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
standing
Yep.
outside of social status
Yeah.
in Charlotte, and every person that walked out the door, I kept refreshing StockX,
Going
and
down,
the price would
dumping,
just
dumping, dumping.
drop, drop,
Yep.
drop. So, yeah, just be wary of like collab releases like that.
So, we're wrapping up and coming to the end of the pod, and so like so they don't miss out, man. Like we talked about how we got started, like kind of like what did we did, some bad investments again, like some good ones, and we had a place where we started. So if you had to talk to the aspiring resellers, like if you had to talk to young Don and
Yeah.
give him some advice, like what would be advice that you want to leave off with the aspiring reseller?
What I think I would say is the initial investment. Like you shouldn't be concerned about that. Like, if you're just not getting into it and you have $200 to your
Yeah.
name, like that's okay.
Mm.
Like that's something. And you really got to dive into the hobby or the market, I should say. There's a lot of people that will try and start it first, and then
Yeah.
they might get discouraged because maybe they can't get access to the product or they haven't been able to sell it. But you have to understand, like any market that you get into, you're gonna make mistakes at first.
For
Like
sure.
I
For
like I got
sure.
scammed for bread toes early in my career. Yeah, and that was
Fakes. Yeah,
100
like
pair. Yeah, so
like
it's just there's certain things like that it's okay if you fail. Like I know as a inspiring people, like if you get down you can come back up, right? So Just don't let like comparing yourself to other people. Like, yeah, other people have 100 pair, 200 pair, and you might have 5. Like, that doesn't mean that they're a better trader than you. That doesn't mean that they're better at this like this market than you are. That just means they've been doing it for longer, or maybe they had a more beneficial opportunity to get them started, right? So
Yeah,
I just, like Steve Jobs wasn't the first person to make a phone, right?
for sure.
So like it doesn't matter when you enter, just like when you get into it, you really got to be in there. And that means, again, them Facebook marketplace, Facebook groups, really.
Yeah,
Discord is huge. Like, people
for
talk on
sure.
Discord.
That's a new one.
And
Yeah.
and then like that's more important than actually being smart with technology when it comes to botting. Like, for botters, like people that want to get into that too, that's a great way to get into it too.
Yeah.
But you got a whole dev team at each of these companies trying to fight botters. So it's very difficult. Um,
And that's one of those things too. Like you said, development teams, like you really got to be on point on your target. Like, because like now, like if you're going into buying, one reason I stopped is because it just became so costly. It became just, I mean, it took so much to just get one shoe that
yeah.
I had to invest so much that it just realistically it didn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, because they'll develop like a new technology
Yeah.
to fight the bots, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're not on Discord talking to those other people that are also running on that
You're by
same
yourself.
release,
Yeah.
and somebody tries one type of proxy, and then they're saying, "Oh, this is the proxy that's
Burnt.
working," and the whole Discord chat switches to those proxies. Like, you got to be like on the information immediately,
Mm-hmm.
like, or the botting's not gonna be for you. I mean, Discord all day, every day, kind of is the most successful botters I see are the ones that are really in tune with what's going on. It's not how much about the technology it's just knowing what technology to use, and
Mm-hmm.
that will make you successful. What addresses to use, and stuff like that. But just back to the sneaker reselling in general, whether you're botting or not,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just don't let it be intimidating to start, and then just stay consistent with it, and like don't like halfway do it. Like, you
For
can't like
sure.
halfway do
Yeah.
anything and then get upset because it's not working out for you. Like, you really just got to be on it, like, and just know what's coming out, how to get it, and what's going to sell, what's not going to sell.
Yeah.
Just a few positive flips can really pave a way for you. So
Yeah, one of my favorite clients, Dr. Eric Thomas, number one motivational speaker in the world. He says, "Don't get upset with the results that you didn't get for the work that you didn't put in."
that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
And to piggyback off what you're saying, like to the just the resellers, like if you don't put in the work, then you're not going to get the results. Like, you have to really study this thing, really study the market,
Yeah, and
really.
and y'all are already probably doing it already.
Yeah.
Like, you're already on Instagram, you're already on Facebook, you're already on TikTok, you're already on YouTube. You're already seeing what all of these people are posting about, and what people are talking about. Like, that's the strongest indication of market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when them red boots come out, they went crazy. Everybody was looking for them. Like, they went up to even like 1,000. We got a pair over there I probably paid over $1,000 for, because they're going for that high at first.
The
Like,
Astro
that
boots.
because they took over the whole internet, and everybody
Yeah.
wanted them, and
Trendy.
then that made it shoot up 1,500. And what did the guy that made the boots do? He saw how much demand it was, and he only
Dumped them.
probably made like 1,000 pairs or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. He probably didn't make a lot. Demand went through the roof, and then he did a back order from whoever his manufacturer is.
Yep.
Probably ordered
A
10,
mill.
20, 50,000 pairs, and then that's when the release came,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
said, they'll be here in a few weeks. I know that's what he did.
Pre-order.
And so it's just, you just got to be able to accommodate for demand. That's what all this is. Like, all these shoes are is just how much is the retail price point, and then how much is the product worth, and then depending on how much demand is the price premium. So
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, that's for, any reseller, for store owners, for, independent resellers. And I mean, the only thing that I can add on to that is just make sure that for the clients that you have, I know you want to have 100, I know you want to have 200 clients. Like, it's going to get there one day, but make sure you're servicing that one client, that two client, that three client the best possible way possible, with great communication, great customer service. And you're going to fail at that sometimes. Like, we're not going to always have the best communication, we're not going to always have the best service at times, because things happen in life. But if you can focus on that for your first, second, third, And then once you build up those habits, then you're gonna do that for your 10 customers, your 20 customers, and then that's how you get like Courtside Don with a beautiful store set up. No, but seriously though,
Yeah,
guys,
like what he's saying about the networking is like it's A1. Like you might think you're just meeting somebody on Facebook Marketplace and then you're doing a deal, but you don't know that man might have 100 pair in his closet. He's selling one, and then you just chop up a conversation with
Yep.
him. He thinks you're, he likes you. He thinks you're good business,
Yeah,
so he's like, come by and pick out some more stuff, and then boom, you bought one pair from him. That's what I would do every time I meet somebody. Like, you have other shoes for sale.
for
One
sure.
pair turned into 5 pair, 10 pair, 20 pair every single time, just from having a good communication with the customer, and they remember that. Like,
That's how we met. You
yeah,
bought a
yeah.
couple shoes from me, and I've been coming back ever since.
Yeah, because people will pay more for
Yeah.
good business. Like, somebody else might have a cheaper price, but if you're easy to deal with, communication is good. There's no issues having to reschedule meetings, stuff like that. Then they'll pay that extra for you. Just because it's good business. So
Yeah, and and what you create off that sneaker portal. That's your pricing. That's your good business. Like you're not overselling somebody. You're not under the market. Like you paying what it costs. Like, and that just come from just those simple things that you picked up on, you saw in the market, then you create a product for it. But hey, look, we definitely gonna have to talk about that another time, man.
yeah, that's a whole thing.
That's
Yeah.
that
That's a
yeah.
whole, yeah, between the store, sneaker portal,
Yeah.
just talking about the economy right now, like
Yeah.
with the sneaker market. Like right now, it may not be the best time for sneakers,
Yeah.
but it's not just sneakers, guys. It's whether it's cars, homes,
Yeah.
crypto,
Crypto's
trading
acting right
cards.
now.
I'm heavy into Pokemon,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's just like whether it's shoes or anything else, like all these markets are suffering right now
For
because
sure.
of the economy state right
Yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah.
So don't get discouraged if stuff's moving a little slower. It's just the economy is in its waves, and we're
Yeah.
just at the bottom of the wave right now. Hopefully it won't keep going down, but if it does, you just have to be prepared for it, and being prepared is huge in this business.
Yeah.
You don't want to overextend yourself,
For sure.
and then the economy falls
Yeah.
more.
The
So
bottom
just,
fall out.
yeah, just always be prepared.
Yeah. And guys, like that's wrapping up for the first release day podcast with Courtside Don. Please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, I didn't know how to pronounce cacao. But let me know in the comments, how do I pronounce that? I'm trying to make sure that we bring you the best possible podcast that we can bring. And when I'll tell you that we want to hear from you, we really want to hear from you, because that's how we bring the best possible podcast to you. So again, make sure you like, subscribe, check us out, and look, and then make sure that you send it to a friend, let them know about it, because we're going to be bringing these on a consistent basis, and we want to make sure that we help you make some money. All right, guys.
Yep.